Garden tour, and I like to come out to the garden with bare feet. So sometimes I get stung by bees. I step on them, but so I want to show you this tree is a melon tree, and it's got this fruit that looks a bit like a hedge apple, but it's sweet. And I'm going to shake the tree, and you can see how they fall here. So they're the red ones.
I thought you said it was a mulberry, huh?
It's a mulberry, and hedge apples in the mulberry family.
But why did you say melons?
Well, it's a term for it. So these are the fruits.
I'm thinking, that looks like mulberry. And then you dry them, or just?
No, you just eat them. Yeah, so you can just walk around and pick them up. Does anyone want to try one? You're welcome to. They get a little brown like that, but they're still good. Does anyone else want to try one?
Oh yeah. They have a little like seed inside them.
And you can walk around. Yeah, they have a seed inside, and you can eat that.
Like a pit with little bitty seeds.
And so you can walk around and get some more. I'll be picking them. You can pick them off the tree if you want, but they got to be squishy.
They don't fall off. They're already fall.
Yeah, exactly. There's one right by your foot here.
Those are great.
There's one there. Yeah, I picked it this morning. Oh, one fell right in my bucket. Oh, here's one behind me. And then we got squished. These aren't real good dried. We tried them dried.
What was in that little thing that we...
Oh, those are mulberries. Those are a different kind of mulberry. It's a white mulberry from Pakistan. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, yeah, you can pick them off of here if you like the look of those. They got to be squishy though. Yeah. And so we'll go to the other garden now. Come on. Oh, you want to do the figs? Let's go to the figs first. Figs. You like figs?
So you're not having problems growing the figs at all. I've heard that we're kind of on the edge. The cool,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little too cold here to grow figs. So you'll see what I do over here is I put them on the west side of the house.
Okay, because I was reading southeast.
Yeah.
I've got 2 figs in pots right now that I'm getting ready to transplant.
Yeah,
And I was trying to figure out which side of the house to put them on.
Yeah, so you'll see what happens here. Is I have the side of the house with brick, and so the sun hits it going down, and then it heats up these areas somehow. And you can feel the heat coming off the wall after the sun goes down. So that's a fig. Now, what you do is you wait until they're soft. Now, I came and picked them all this morning, so there aren't any soft ones. You might find some soft ones, but you go and you squeeze them, and that was just a little hard. Yeah. But I picked, I'm picking several pounds a day off of these trees. And so I go up and I squeeze it, and it's hard, and I'll leave it on for a couple more days, because I have some. Now, this one could be picked. Yeah. But this one's a little soft. See, that's about what you want. And then you don't eat it right away. And then, like, look up here. This tree is really big. And so that wall acts as a heat sink. It soaks up heat from the setting sun. The sun sets over here. And then, so these plants do really well. And it'll die back totally at the end of the year, at the end of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
The whole plant does?
Yeah, it'll die back. I'll cut it and I'll take the cuttings.
Oh, you cut it. Okay.
Yeah, well, if you don't, it just dies. But I'll take the cuttings and I'll plant them in a hole and try to root them. And I've got a lot of new plants out here.
And you know that fig tree on the left is so tall.
Yeah.
Like, can that wall still get the heat, or isn't the tree blocking the heat?
Well, there's some of both there, dear. Yeah. Some of both. But it's mostly during the winter when you're keeping it alive and there's no leaves.
And yeah, I'm surprised that must be here that they die already. Because when they do it,
Oh, that was like the idea of
Yeah. These are baby ones. And I got 2 more over here.
Okay.
And we have a lot of pawpaw trees here in there. And those are really good this summer. Do you guys know pawpaws? They're really good. And they were, we got about 40 pounds this year. Okay, so this is the this is sort of the what we call row cropping garden, and we can come out here. And so this is cilantro, which is really good for is really good to eat, like in my bitter greens, and lettuce, and the kale's not doing really well because it's been so hot, and a lot of kale hasn't come up, but we get just a lot of different kinds of greens. The dandelions are doing really well, and the carrots are doing really well. Carrots and dandelions. These are dandelions, and these are Italian dandelions, and they're really thick and bushy. And you can see I just come in with the scissors and clip those, and then I put that in my salad. And these are sprouting beds here. And so this is sunflower. So I'll have these tonight. And I'll just come in with the scissors and cut those. And they're really vibrant. And then that's broccoli. And the peppers got really wet. And then we've got a lot of lettuces. And then around the perimeter, I have figs. Like that fig there is a cutting off of that tree there. And then we have kiwis. And these are cover crops, these little sprouts you see coming up on the perimeter. And those are tomatoes. And we had that. You want to tell about the pawpaw, son?
Yeah, we have pawpaw in that other area, and they were just phenomenal. It's our first kind of real big harvest this season.
Yeah.
But even then, it was still kind of medium harvest. But, I mean, we were excited.
And we'll go over
like
here.
a cross between a banana and a mango. Kind of.
So we'll go over here and look at some of the other fruits over here. Follow me.
Did the torrential downpours recently change the way you're harvesting?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point too. So you see how these are built up in mounds? I call it a furrow. And the reason is because in the spring and the fall we get a lot of really heavy rains, and so there'll be like puddles in between. And then, but by having it up like that, it doesn't kill the plants. Yeah, if I had it down all flat, I would have lost all my plants.
Oh, so that was smart. You intentionally built them up
Yeah,
before the rain.
yeah, and it's easy to do it with a rake too. You just sort of rake one upside and go down the other.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Glad you asked that question. And we'll go over here to the okra first.
Who's done this before?
And so what happens with the water in the fall when you have cool nights and warm days is these plants are all wet in the morning, and the plants, like people, can absorb water through their skin or through their, the plant. If you don't water the roots and you water the plant, it'll actually soak up the water. And people are the same way. If you're like lost at sea, you can put yourself in the salt water and you'll absorb the water through your skin. And so this is okra, and it's October 6th today, and October 15th is when we have our first frost, and we'll lose a lot of these okra type plants. But look at all the flowers. So each flower is going to be a fruit, and the fruit is this stalk here. Do you like okra, Max? Try this.
There's butter on it.
Just eat the end, the little end. But you can just eat these. Does anyone want to try one? Just eat the end. If they're good raw, they're slimy when you cook them, but people like them fried in the South, but I don't recommend that. Anyone else want one? And they do itch, they have spines on them.
Thank you.
Yep.
Try it.
And then I have a red kind.
Daddy put salt on them.
You
They
did.
do taste it.
Oh.
They do taste salty.
So these are red okra here. Does anyone want to try a red one? These are kind of small.
one.
I picked them all this morning, so they're see the bigger one.
Oh, here's one there.
Yeah,
Okay.
just pick it.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Cool.
And yeah, so this is I put this on the high side of the garden. Now next year I'm going to put my pepper plants here because my pepper plants got too wet. And then so you got to keep them high so they're in a furrow and they're on a dry side of the garden and away from the sprinkler because these are like a desert plant.
So will these, that's what I need to grow then.
Yeah.
So would these stay looking like this, and then next year resprout? I mean, or do
No,
you cover
no.
them up?
I've saved a lot of seeds, and I'll cut them down and start again. And the deer like these, so you gotta have a fence around them. Yeah. And then this is kind of kale here, or broccoli. I don't know what it is, but I just come in. This is really good. So what I'll do is I'll come in, and I'll grab a bunch like that and clip it with my scissors, and just move down the row, and then put it in my bowl, and that's how I eat it. Yeah. And then there's more dandelion here. We have basil here, goji berries there, all figs from cuttings on the side there. And this is a mulberry tree here that was grown from a cutting. And you know, this will. I need a little shade here. I'm gonna put my chairs under this tree eventually, hopefully. And then Scott helped me with the sweet potatoes, and this is all sweet potatoes here. Yeah, and if you can slide through here, I'll show you some more stuff. So this is parsley, and parsley is really good for body odor, for bad breath and BO. You eat a lot of parsley, and before you go out on a hot date. And so, but that has actually made it through the summer, and we're actually getting good produce off of that. And so, I don't have a sprinkler on this side of the garden, but it's actually doing better than my other side because of the cool nights and the warm air, and it's getting a lot of moisture just from the dew. And then I have 2 pawpaw trees there and there, and they're getting big. And I had a little flower on one of those, so we might get some pawpaws next year out here. But I have bigger pawpaw trees there. And then we do the wood chips. See all the wood chips out there? I have a tractor looking thing, and I'll turn that over and make my own soil, my own compost. And I give that away to my friends for free by the truckload. Yeah, there's a horse over there. And then we have we have big piles of compost out here that we just give to people that they can use it for sprouting and for gardens and things like that. So, oh, and then over here, this is where we grew the butternut squash, and we got several hundred pounds of butternut squash in the basement, and we're using that. I'm eating it raw, and we're putting it in all sorts of dishes, and it tastes really, really great. So any questions about the garden?
Now, what are you using mostly to fertilize your garden?
I use a compost. Yeah, and I don't really do a lot with it. I'll have leaves. My landscaper will bring leaves, and he'll dump all the leaves, and I'll put it all between the rows, and that does most of the fertilization because it gets the vermiculture, the bugs, the critters, the worms, the arthropods, the bacteria, the fungi. It gets that all going, and that's what I use. But it's all broken down. And then, but I'll be putting leaves on this. I'll be covering in a big blanket of leaves, and they'll dump maybe 20 loads of leaves, you know, like trailer loads of leaves, and we'll bring them all out here, and I'll pay kids to just put them out here. So, you know, kids looking for work. But I usually end up doing a lot of it myself because it's hard to find people. And but that's how I do it. I don't have any really fertilizers, and I usually I'll rake the furrow up, and then I'll sprinkle my seeds out, and then I'll sift some compost and put the sifted compost on top of the seeds, and then I'll water with a watering can, maybe, but maybe not. Yeah.
How many acres of lemons?
We have 16 here. Yep, in Nashville. Yep.
And then your garden is?
It's about a quarter of an acre. Yeah.
You have any herbs in this?
Yeah, right here. There's yeah.
Basil.
There's Genovese basil here, and this is a lemon basil. Here, smell this. Isn't that nice?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And then over there, there's sage, and that's holy basil. Right here is holy basil. And you can take the seeds and plant them yourself.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you don't have to have a garden like this. I put a lot of herbs and all in my flower beds.
You can put them in your
And
flower
it's
beds.
beautiful. Parsley is gorgeous in a flower bed.
Yeah, and that's a medicinal plant from India. I don't know where it's from, but they use it a lot in India. It's called tulsi.
Put it in amongst your...
Yeah, and the basil, the Genovese basil is a little tired. It doesn't. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe it doesn't like the heat, or maybe it's too much water. Is probably it.
The water, they have to be a little drier.
Yeah.
People need to go in because
Yeah, it's too hot out here. Yeah, it's about 100 degrees out here. I think 90 degrees. Yeah.
and it's fall. It's supposed
Fall.
to be
Yeah,
autumn.
it's October 6th. I know. Yeah. So y'all head in when you can't
Okay.
take the heat anymore. Well, I'm gonna be right in. So these are radishes. That's a weed. But these are radishes, and my radishes aren't doing real well. They like cold weather, but I eat the greens, and they're really good. So like I just come in here, and Like this morning I came in and just clip it right there, throw it in my basket and just move down the row. And it's like, they grow like weeds. And they grow in bacterially dominated soil just like a weed will. So.
What about carrots? Do those do pretty good?
Yeah,
In your,
do well.
I haven't had that much luck with carrots.
Carrots are doing really well. These are doing well. And when it gets cold, they'll do good. And this plant here, you probably have this, Evelyn, at your house. This is a called wild spinach or lamb's quarters. This, taste it. It's better than anything I grow, taste-wise, palatability-wise. Better than a lettuce. And, of course, it's off the charts nutritionally. And, you know, it's just God's way of saying, well, hey, I can do this a little better than you. And he sends this stuff in, and this stuff is much better than that. If I didn't have any garden, I could just eat this. If I didn't want to do any work, I just come out and eat this, and I do pretty well. Yeah. Do you want to try one, Karen? That's called lamb's quarter, and it grows like crazy here in the spring. Yeah. Anything else? I got fennel. You know, there's tons of plants out here. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll wind it up there, and we'll head in.
Should we get a closing shot of you, Thomas, and I?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Selfie. Closing selfie. Yeah, that'd be great too.
Oh, here, I'll